Everybody else does their thumbnails this way. This is hard. Now I see what my parents tell me, don't do things that everybody else is doing. Hey everyone, I'm Lex and welcome back to Library of Lex. So before I even get started with anything in this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the love, support, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions on my last video, my booktube newbie tag. I went into that video blind. I didn't share the video. I didn't tell my family about it or anything. And just the support from the booktube community, I never really understood what people said by the support in the booktube community. But now I understand and I see it, and I just want to say that I'm so thankful and so grateful, and there are not enough words for just you guys. So I just wanted to start off my video with that. Secondly, I just want to say, don't get used to me doing hauls. This is a lot of work. I don't usually buy this many books at once. It just happens to be after Christmas, the New Year, yada yada yada. Yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. So expect hauls, or maybe not even TBRs. Like maybe a good 4 times a year, but don't get your hopes up with this, because this ain't easy. All right, let's get started. So our first order of business is nonfiction. I have 6 nonfiction books. I'm very proud of that, because I said this year I wanted to read more fiction than nonfiction, and I have 6 nonfiction here, which means that I have 14 fiction over there. So the first book is Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, PhD, don't get it twisted, honey. It is under the psychology and women's studies genre. This is a pretty thick book, y'all. Look, it's thick with only 3 C's, because I have some books that are thick with 5 C's, but we're gonna get into that later. Basically, this book is about finding your wild woman. It's a study about women and how we have evolved from this wild creature into what society wants us to be. And Clarissa is discussing in this book about how women should go back to their natural state. Why did we evolve from that in the first place? What happened? So she goes in with several stories, several examples, just to pull out your inner wild woman. I read the first chapter, and it's definitely not a book that I would read in one sitting, but it is a book that I would probably dive into once a week, maybe as like my own little personal homework, or just read a chapter when I wake up before I go to bed. That'll be this type of book. But I wanted to read this book because I am going through a period of my life where I'm just shedding skin at a rapid rate. I have been getting rid of a whole lot of old beliefs and a whole lot of bull, and I thought it was a bad thing until I came across this book, and I was just like, I have to have this book. So I cannot wait to come out of this book a different woman, and to come out this book a wild woman. Okay, so my next book is a little interesting too. I got it off of Amazon. It was $15.95, and it's a health education book, which is a first for me. But I've been hearing the word fasting a lot. It's been thrown around my energy. I guess I need to fast. I guess my energy has been like calling it in. So I thought that I would pick up a book about fasting, and this is called The Science and Fine Arts of Fasting by Herbert M. Shelton. Basically, Herbert M. Shelton was genius. He led 30,000 people to fast. Most of them were ill. Most of them, had something funky going on with their body. And out of the 30,000 people, only 3 people that he practiced with fasting didn't work. So I would say that's a pretty good ratio. So this book was definitely on my radar, and it's just something that I wanted to dig into. Just like Women Who Run with Wolves, I will probably read this on a weekly basis, find it, stick it into my schedule somewhere, in just a couple pages every day. So that's that. That's book number 2. Okay, my third book, very popular. It's this, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Mark Manson. I got this book for free $99 from my sister's bookshelf. They asked for forgiveness and not permission, so it's definitely a self-help book, and this book is 224 pages long. The thing that stuck out to me about this book was right here is this quote, the orange quote, and basically it says, the key to being happier is to stop trying to be positive all the time and instead to become better at handling adversity. I first heard something like that on a podcast, and when I first heard it, it was like a light bulb went off. I was just like, oh my gosh, we have so many people in the world like positive vibes only. They're positive vibes only, positive vibes only. And I always thought that was kind of toxic, because I'm just like, we aren't 100% positive beings, and we need to honor the other side of us. And I see a lot of people who practice metaphysics, who are spiritual leaders in the community, and they say the same thing. So I'm excited to get into this book, and I will probably read this very, very soon. Okay, so next. So my next book, I honestly bought this book because I wanted to cry. That just sounded really crazy, but I'm not a crier, and it takes a lot for me to cry. When I read the description of this book, I was like, oh my God, I need to cry. My tear ducts need to percolate, because they don't. So I bought When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I hope I'm saying your last name right. I bought it on Amazon. It was $14.95, I believe, and it is 208 pages. This book is about a neurosurgeon who's almost done with school, I believe. And when he's almost done, he finds out that he has stage 4 lung cancer. Like, ain't that about a... For him to be in the middle of that, the hardest point of his life, and write a book on top of everything else that was probably going on in his life is really admirable. So I wasted no time getting this book. I really can't wait for this. It's definitely at the top of my list. All right, so next up on my list is The Order of Time by Carlo Rovelli. I picked up this book in Barnes & Noble. It was 15 bucks. It is labeled as a physics book. It's about Carlo diving into what time is, why he may think it's real, why he doesn't think it's real. He also breaks down a lot of the assumptions that humans have about time. I feel like humans are always on a time crunch. We gotta be here, we gotta be there, we gotta go to sleep, you gotta put the kids down, you gotta do this, that, and the fourth. And this book, I feel like for me, will actually stop time and make me be more conscious of it. And this book came in at the perfect time, because I just said the other day that I need to stop saying I don't have time, and I need to start saying I need to create time. Honestly, that phrase, if I'm being honest, started booktube for me, because I always said I didn't have time, and then I was just like, you need to create time, you need to make time, and all of a sudden I just had so much more time in the world. So I'm excited for this. I'm gonna pair this with another book that I have in my fiction section, and I feel like the two books will be really great bouncing off of one another, and I can't wait for that. So my last video in this nonfiction section is how to break up with your phone. I need this book so much. I am guilty. It's by Catherine Price. I got this book from Amazon. It was really cheap. It was $5.79, I believe. And I'm not addicted to my phone, because I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, I don't have things like that. But I just always find something to do on my phone, whether it's read an article, play a game, scroll on Twitter, watch YouTube. And I really need to spend less time on my phone, like, honestly. Yeah, basically this book is just what it says. It's a book that's guiding you to use your phone less. How do we use our apps less? How do we depend on things outside of our phone and not just on our phone? Because I don't know about you, but I always feel naked when I don't have my phone. This book I learned about on another podcast, which I remember this time. It was The Read. And one of the co-hosts, Crystal, said that she used her phone 15% less directly after reading this. And she said she used Instagram less. She deleted Instagram off of her phone. So I was just like, what is in this book that made you do that? Because I need some of that. And yeah, I'm really excited about this book. I feel like this book will be a piece of humble pie. All right, so let's move on over to fiction. The first book I got, it's actually books. It's a series, probably one of the most popular books in the world, probably translated in so many languages that I don't have enough fingers and toes for them. And it is dun da da da, the Harry Potter full series. Thanks to my dad who got this for me for Christmas. I didn't think he would get it. I thought that he was gonna think that Harry Potter was too childish for me at my age. It comes with all 7 books. It's still in the plastic, so let's open it. All right, so it's so pretty. I don't know what this building is. I'm going into Harry Potter blind. I didn't even read like the synopsis of the books. The only thing I know about Harry Potter is Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slither, Slender, Slin. And I don't even know what that means. Like, is that a house? A wand? And I know Harry. And that's it. So the first book, they really put these books in there. So the first book is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Wow. This is my first time holding a Harry Potter book. Like, I'm not joking. It's pretty. I like it. The second is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It looks like this. The third is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Child, I don't know. The fourth book is Thick with 4 C's. It is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. She thick. The fifth book is Thick with 5 C's. Lord, it's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This book has 870 pages. What do you have to say with 870 pages? I never read a book this large. Anyways, the sixth book is not thick with 6 C's. It is a bit slim. It is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Excited. And the last, the seventh, is, she pretty thick. Let me see. This one is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I tallied all the page numbers before I made this video, and together it is 4,113 pages. What did I just sign up for? I don't know. Starting off fiction with a bang. Next is The Night Tiger by Yangsze Choo. This is labeled as historical fiction and it has 384 pages. So this book is going to pair with the book, the nonfiction book about time. The man who's dying in this story tells the little boy to go back and get his missing finger that I guess came off years ago in an accident, and he has 49 days to do it. So immediately I just thought that time plays a big role in this book. So that's why I said this book will be great with that time book. And I think that this book is probably number 1 on my list, along with the book about time, because I had a lot to learn about time apparently. So yeah. So my next book I got is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I got this book on Amazon for $8.99. I don't read YA all the time, and as you can see, the green tabs I put as great quotes. So it has a lot of green tabs in here, as you can see. I started my year off with this book. I'm pretty sure I started reading this on January 1st. And basically in this book, you see the main character. She's in high school, she has a daughter, and she's a senior, and she wants to figure out what's next in her life, but all she knows is the present. She's not the richest person in the world, and just to see her overcome, you know, so many things that were thrown her way in this book and how she overcame them to do ultimately what she knew she wanted to do was very empowering. I'm not going to say my rating because I really don't believe in ratings, like giving a book 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. And if you want to read my rating, you can check out my Twitter at Library of Lex, and you can check out my Goodreads at goodreads.com/Library of Lex. Alright, so my next book is another free 99 from my sister's bookshelf, but it's On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Yes. And I did not read her first novel. I don't like reading books that everybody's reading at one time. I kind of like to wait until later and then I'll dive into the book because I just don't want my view of the book to be skewed while I'm reading it. I did watch the movie and I was on a plane coming from Hawaii and I was just like, I didn't read the book. And my sister told me, she's like, go ahead and watch the movie because the movie was done like flawlessly. I don't think I've ever cried off of a movie. And yeah, I felt like those little wet things in my eyes, you know? And I was just like, oh my gosh, that was a good movie. So I figured I'd dive into this, which is her second novel. And it's basically about a girl named Bree. And her father was an underground rapper. And now she wants to be a rapper. But her father is passed. Kind of like With a Fire on High, they don't have the most money in the world and she has her back against the wall and she's like, I gotta get it. So I can't wait to dive into this book. I feel like this will be a fun read for me, just something I read for fun. So yeah, I can't wait to get into this, seriously. All right. And y'all know it ain't a book haul without Toni Morrison. I had to get my hands on some more Toni Morrison because she is my favorite author, but I have not read every single book by her. And my goal this year is to read every Toni Morrison book, okay? If you go to my Goodreads, my bio is literally, I am so grateful to be alive during the reign of Toni Morrison because I am. It's one of my greatest accomplishments, okay? So starting with her first novel, this is The Bluest Eye. I got this on Amazon for $8.69. The genre is literature, okay? Don't get Toni Morrison twisted. Don't ever let me hear you say Toni Morrison is fiction. Yes, she is fiction, but she is literature. Like, she is literature. Like, this book is about a black girl who wants blue eyes because the standard definition of beauty in America is blue eyes. And it still is that way. So I feel like this book is very timeless. All of her books are very one and done. You can sit down in 1 or 2 days and read it and it will just knock you out. So very excited for this one. The next Toni Morrison book is Paradise and it is 318 pages. To make a long story short, this book is about mass violence in rural. Okay, my last video I couldn't say several, and I can't say rural either. This is a book about mass violence in Oklahoma. I'm just gonna say Oklahoma because I can't say the R word. So yeah. But this one, okay, so Jazz is a book about a man who's a beauty salesman and he shoots his teenage lover to death. And then he has the nerve to bring his wife to the funeral and then she attacks the corpse. This book is straight tea. This is also high up on my TBR list. I cannot wait to get into this. Just go read the description and you'll probably put this in your cart too because this book probably got all the tea, okay? Last and certainly not least, it does have the least amount of pages and it's the smallest book I have in this haul. But it is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This is labeled as gay literature. This is 150 pages and it's about an American in Paris and he's about to marry a woman but he falls in love with an Italian bartender. So this book sounds like it has tea too. I need to get in James Baldwin more because he's just a late and great. He's iconic. He's everything. So this is last but not least. So that's the end of my 20 book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching my video and I appreciate you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment if any of these books are in your TBR or if you think any of them were interesting. But a lot of these books I will be making separate videos about and I'm really excited. If you want to stay connected with me If you want to see what I'm reading next, you can go over to my Twitter, and that is at Library of Lex. And I really try to keep up with Goodreads now. I'm not the best at it, but I try to keep up with like the currently reading tab, so you can see what I'm currently reading on Goodreads. Okay, and yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Stay happy, take care of yourself, and I will see you guys on my next video. Peace out. I brought it or I bought it, Alexis. Secondly, I don't know what that was. And they just get thicker and thicker and thicker as I go on. Like, all right, next on my fiction list is The Night Tiger by Thick. My dog's dreaming right now. I don't want to wake him up. That's kind of rude. Next.